What's up, everybody? Well, on a podcast now. I'm Alex, and in this video, I want to look ahead to 2026 and to Judas. Now, to get out of the way early, we don't officially know, and who really does know with Ken Levine, we don't know if the game's coming out next year, okay? But this is the start. You know, I always tend to do this around Christmas time, around the end of the year. I try to pick some games that I'm really interested in and talk about their future, whether it's next year or going forward. And, you know, I'm recording this actually the day they dropped the newest PlayStation blog. I'm recording it on the Tuesday before. And the game just, it always sounds amazing to me. I mean, if you guys can relate, you let me know in the comments. But every time we hear about this game, I'm impressed. I'm so freaking excited. Even when we just get blogs, you know, I think it's kind of just how Ken Levine talks, and the way he thinks kind of translates to how he talks. The guy is just a genius. The guy's, I think, on a different level, and I think the team he's assembled to do this game is very, very talented as well. And just anytime we see it, hear about it, and look, the last 2 times has been on PlayStation blogs. You know, they've just been in writing. They haven't even been like actual, you know, animation and videos. But Judas has always sounded phenomenal. You can watch interviews. You can go really in-depth with Ken Levine, which I've done. I've tried to watch any interview this guy has ever done, at least in the last, like, maybe 10 years. And the guy, I just think, gets it. So what I really want to do, I want to talk about, okay, well, firstly, let's get it out of the way. Can this game come out next year? I think the answer is yes. I actually feel because of these PlayStation blogs. Now, look, this was the strategy. He had said that, hey, we're not gonna, you know, invest time and money and everything else, effort, into trailers. You know, trailers do take a lot of time, money, energy, all that jazz. It would be better of them to put it towards making the game. And in the meantime, they'll do kind of, you know, blog posts to, you know, tide people over until the game comes out. He said that a couple months ago, and credit to them, they've stuck with it. In fact, I think they've stuck with it better than I thought, because the 2 blog posts are only like 2-ish months apart. They're not like half a year. It's not a year apart, which is, you know, we haven't seen the game in a very long time. You know, visually, they have taken big breaks. So I will say, in terms of the frequency that we're seeing this game, it's picking up. It's picking up in blogs. You know, he could wake up one day, Ken Levine, and just type out a PlayStation blog, right? And he probably does. That's probably how he does it. But so I will say, you know, it is easy, I guess, to do that. But I just feel the frequency is giving us a hint that, like, this game really should be ready. Remember, this year, the year we were just in, 2025, the game was actually supposed to come out this past March. I think before March 31st of 2025. That was in the financial reports of Take-Two, and they quietly removed it. You know, it was an expectation that this game, Judas, was supposed to come out, and then when that quarter ended, they just eliminated it, and it was like it was never there in the first place, but it was. So the game, I feel like, internally has, you know, again, you never know with him. You never know. But I think the game has internally been thought of as almost done, probably for a couple years. And I think that's just how he is. But I think we're so close. I do, again, I would admit that we probably have thought like that, or you could think like that, for the last couple of years. So, okay, could it come out next year? I think it does. I want to believe that Judas comes out next year. The big issue, the big elephant in the room is GTA 6, right? They're both Take-Two properties, and that's just, to me, that's a big deal, because, like, not that Judas and GTA are very much linked in any way, besides the parent company, but you are not going to release them in the same month. You're not going to release them probably a month and a half or even maybe 2 months apart. And, like, I would imagine Judas is a next fall game, and it probably maybe always was, but then you think, okay, well, now GTA is next fall, right? So I feel like one move. So to cop out, I feel like Judas is either going to be like an August, September game, or Judas is going to be the earliest you can do in 2027. That's kind of where I'm at with Judas. And then in terms of just taking the game a little bit further, as I mentioned with these PlayStation blogs, like, I really think it's going to be a game changer. And maybe I'm just so high. I mean, I'm not kissing the boots of Ken Levine. Like, I try not to do that with almost anyone. I mean, I have my kind of favorites in terms of people that I just think are kind of next level. Sam Lake, you know, of Remedy and whatnot. You know, I think of people, maybe like how some people think of Hideo Kojima, I might think of people like Ken Levine or Sam Lake and stuff like that. But I just really feel the way that they talk, the way that this game is designed, it's gonna be a game changer. I want to believe in the system that I believe Lego brick building is what they call it, right? Where everything's like built through Legos. I mean, it's an analogy. I don't think it's literally built with Lego blocks, but you know, the idea that the game is always teaching itself. The game is gonna throw something at you that you haven't seen, and it's not AI. It's not the AI slop we've seen on like Twitter and whatnot. This is them programming the game to do randomized stuff, to feed off off of what you're doing as Judas, which we learned a little bit more about her, by the way, in the blog post, that like she was actually one of the last things they came up with, the actual like main character. They focus on everything else first, then Judas, which was really cool to actually hear. And then to hear like, okay, well now she is very, very important, and there's kind of almost like what she's good at and what she as a personality would be strongly uncomfortable with, and that's where they put her in the game to kind of force that uncomfortability out. Again, like I think they're always thinking just at like another level than what you normally read from other like gaming developers. Like I'm always impressed with what I hear, you know, whether it's verbal or whether it's what they're written. So yeah, I really believe this is going to be a game that, in terms of that system, in terms of the game kind of taking what you're doing and throwing something at you and having things read and react in ways that have been done maybe a little bit, but never to this level and never designed as, you know, in the way that Judas is. I really think it's going to be something really special, and it's mainly the reason, you know, that I want it. It's just because it is so different. You know, I love things that are different, and you don't always get things that are massively different in AAA, right? They're more safe. They're more kind of a jack of all trades, master of none type thing, right? And it's like I want a game that's going to specialize and really push something forward, and that, you know, coincidentally is in the AAA space. So I think the game, hopefully within the next year or so, we get it, and just anytime I see it, I'm really, really impressed. I hope we get a trailer. I'm sure we will get another trailer, but I don't know. I'm liking this. Like, if you can do a new blog post and give us just a little bit of info every month or two, I mean, I'll take that over a trailer. If you want to give a trailer 3 months before the game comes out, that would be nice. You know, you need a release date. Release date trailers tend to happen, right? You do that and you peace out. You know, you let the game speak for itself. And I really think this is a game that you can do that with. You can let Ken Levine's name carry it, and then you can let just what the game is trying to do, which is very special and very different, right? You can let that carry it, and I think that's the plan. So let me know what you guys think. Make sure, as always, you're subscribed to the channel, bell icon turned on, and hope to see you all on the next one.